How is it going, everyone? Today I'm here with my PWG Pushing Forward bag review. And without wasting any time, let's go ahead and jump right into this video, of course, with the DVD cover right here. You got a nice picture of Zack Sabre Jr. as well as Chuck Taylor. A bunch of other photos from other matches during the show. Right there on the cover. And of course, right there, Pros and Guerrillas Pushing Forward bag took place on July 7, 2017 in Ricochet, California. Very nice cover right there. And then you open it up, you got a picture right there of Matt Jackson doing a moonsault onto the Unbreakable FM machines. Here's a disc right there. They didn't put the back artwork on the disc this time, which is surprising. But behind the disc is a very nice picture of Zack Sabre Jr. right there. Of course, his jacket with the ZSJ, which is, of course, the initials of Zack Sabre Jr. So that is what the inside looks like right there. Here's a spine pushing forward back with a nice picture of Brian Cage right there in the spine. And of course, here's the back, pretty much giving you a little preview of the event with a bunch of pictures from the matches, pretty much giving you a little insight what's going to happen. Of course, there is a match card right there, and of course, a little description right there. On July 7th, 2017, Pros and Guerrillas celebrate 14 years of the best professional wrestling on earth with Pushing Forward back in Ricochet, California. Pushing Forward back on Blu-ray features 6 incredible matches, including, and of course, as always, there is the match card. And yeah, that's what the Blu-ray looks like in the DVD and everything. And my overall thoughts on the show was, it was a good show. It's a one-match show. It's all it really is. The main event's the only thing really worth watching. Everything else is kind of just there. You know, you had 2 really good matches, and everything else is kind of just decent to good. So, a very missable show, if you ask me. It's about 2 hours and 10 minutes, so it's not very long. It's easy to sit through, but like I said, it's a very skippable show. Besides the main event really saves it from being a bad show. So, yeah, this is my general thoughts on the show as a whole. The show opened up with Sammy Guevara taking on Horus, which is a very underwhelming debut match for both men. I thought that they didn't click very well. I thought you know, they were too focused on getting their characters over than their wrestling, so it really hurt. And it didn't help the fact that this match was like 20 minutes long. I'm all for time, but when you're not really capitalizing on the time, to me it's just a big waste, and I feel like they did that here. Sammy Guevara was just way more focused on getting over as a heel, which did not seem natural. He just seemed like a face, so you know, to try and, you know, convince me that you're a heel just was not working. Horus was just, you know, trying his character over as well. They did some nice wrestling. You know, there really wasn't that much they were showcasing, but, you know, Horus did a nice suicide dive on the outside, which he completely overshot and landed straight on the ground, but that still looked nice. There were some nice sequences towards the end of the match, but like I said, they were just really focused on getting their characters over rather than the wrestling, which I think really hurt it. And you know, Sammy Guevara, I know he's only a few years in the business still, but he still seemed very green in this match. I don't know what it was. Like, he did, you know, a squatting fireman's carry where Adam carry and hit some squats, and then he did like a backdrop or a Samoan drop. It just came off really shitty, so he didn't come off the smooth as well. But Horus looked pretty good. But yeah, just very underwhelming. Wasn't that good of an opener. Sammy Guevara went with the 630 senton. So that was that. From there, I'm going to the Unbreakable FM machines. Brian Cage and Michael Elgin versus the Young Bucks, Matt and Nick Jackson. Really good match right here. You know, the Young Bucks have been really shining with these big men in tag matches this year in PWG. And I feel like, you know, Cage and Elgin have really been coming on their own as a really good tag team over the last year in PWG as well. So I thought the combination of those two factors played really well. Young Bucks, you know, played some comedy stuff at the beginning, of course, you know, saying, why did Superdrive book this match? Doing some comical stuff. And then, of course, you know, Elgin and Cage would quickly take over the Young Bucks and just utilize them and pretty much just throw them around like they're absolutely nothing. Nice spots where Young Bucks went for 2 sharpshooters on both of them, but as they did the sharpshooters, Brian Cage and Michael Elgin were doing push-ups in the sharpshooter. I thought was a great spot right there. Another great spot was where Elgin and Cage were kind of stomping on the Young Bucks, and the Young Bucks, the way they're selling it, they were like jumping 10 feet in the air, back down, kind of like doing push-ups, so I thought that was a nice spot right there. But yeah, like I said, both teams gelled very well. Good stuff. You know, some nice maneuvers. You know, Matt Jackson did, of course, his good Christian boy moonsault on the outside, and the Young Bucks, you know, were taking over a little bit of the match. And of course, you know, Elgin would just absolutely, you know, dominate them. When one of the Young Bucks hit a Frankensteiner, I think it was Nick hit a Frankensteiner on Elgin, followed by, you know, 2 super kicks, which were followed by 2 huge lariats from both Cage and Elgin, and then, you know, Cage and Elgin kind of took over from there, and then Cage and Elgin ended up getting the win when Elgin, I believe, pinned Matt Jackson. So very fun tag team match right there from both tag teams. Really enjoyed that one. 3-way match: Keith Lee, Lee Rush, and Trent. This was a really good match right here as well. Right from the get-go, you know, Trent kind of just left the ring, said "fuck this match," and then Keith Lee is kind of calling out Trent, but Leo Rush is like, "Hey, I'm right here. I'm not done with you." And you know, Keith Lee was kind of just ignoring Leo Rush. Keith Lee just absolutely using his power to throw around Leo Rush and Trent throughout the entire match till, you know, Trent and Lio Rush were able to ground Keith Lee. You know, Lio Rush had a huge DVD onto onto Keith Lee, which was very impressive. And then, you know, match kind of turned to a comedy match where Lio Rush and Trent were kind of just trying to outdo each other. Lio Rush would do something, then Trent would just mimic it, and Lio Rush was trying to prove that he couldn't do it. But once, you know, Trent did it, you know, Lio Rush's point was, I can do it better. So they're kind of having some comedy moments right there. And then eventually, you know, Lio Rush turned on Trent when Trent tried to do the hug it out, but then Lio Rush gave him a body slam. And then Keith Lee would go back into the match. Trent hit a nice dude buster onto Keith Lee, which I thought was a nice near fall right there. Lio Rush would go for the Dragon's Call, but Trent would knock him down. Hit a Dragonfly, or not the Dragonfly. God, my mind's going blank right there. I'm sorry. The standing flux capacitor, I'll call it right now, because that's not really known as the flux capacitor from Kazarian. But hit a standing flux capacitor onto Trent. Try to do it onto Keith Lee. Keith Lee kind of powered him up into a fireman's carry jackhammer for the win. So Keith Lee picks up the win. Another really good match right there. And yeah, those, you know, that match and the tag match were probably the two, you know, only good undercard matches worth really watching. 4-way match: Sammy, Callihan, Dave, Crist, Jay, Crist, Dezmond, Xavier. This was supposed to be a 6-man tag, but due to, you know, American Airlines, a lot of this card got mixed up, by the way, due to people not be able to show up. But the wrestling was fine. It was typical Sammy Callihan shitty match. It was a 10-minute sprint. You know, the only notable spot in this match was Rick Knox doing 4 suicide dives on the outside, and everyone was just followed up by a dive from the top rope onto everyone on the outside. So I thought that was a nice spot right there. Rick Knox was a highlight of this match, and he was even a competitor. So keep that in mind. Dezmond and Xavier picked up the win. Yeah, really not much to say about that. Trevor Lee versus Ricochet. This match was, you know, it could have been a lot better. You know, Trevor Lee, post-Bola 2016, I feel like he doesn't really give a shit. You can really tell he doesn't try, which really hurts his match quality, because he used to have one of the best matches on the card, if not the best match on the card when he would wrestle. But now he's just having these really underwhelming matches. This is another showcase of that Ricochet right here. You know, he was really playing to the crowd, not really doing much. He would, you know, throw Ricochet across the ring, then, you know, play to the crowd, trying to be a heel, you know, really relying on that TNA gimmick still. So, just very disappointed with Charlie's performance. So Ricochet looked good. They had a nice exchange towards the end of the match where Trevor Lee went for a Orange Crush, but Ricochet was able to counter it into a small package, and they had a really nice sequence right there after that. But Ricochet ended up hitting the Benadryller, followed by a Flatliner for the win. Like I said, just very underwhelming. You know, I wish Trevor Lee would try more. You can definitely tell he doesn't give it his all he used to. So, you know, what can you do? And then we go to the main event. Of course, the only match, in my opinion, worth watching on the show, which was the Pro Wrestling Guerrilla World Championship title match. Zack, Sammy, defending against Chuck Taylor. This was an incredible main event right here. This is the best Chuck Taylor match you'll ever see in your entire life. I'm just saying that right now. I thought the storytelling was great. You know, the never die attitude of Chuck Taylor in this match. The fact that, you know, the whole story was, this was his last opportunity at the title, and if he lost, he's never going to challenge again. So that really played an effect here. You know, Zack Sabre Jr. was working over Chuck Taylor the entire match, locking him in various submissions. Chuck Taylor, at one point, even put his hands behind his back and said, let's go, you know, give me your best shot. And would fight back. And there was, at one point, a beautiful fucking counter where Zack Sabre Jr. went for a running uppercut, but Chuck Taylor caught him to a backslide, actually put him on the top turnbuckle, and actually flipped him into an awful waffle. So I thought that was a great spot right there by Chuck Taylor. Every time Chuck Taylor would be locked into a submission where you think it's over, he would somehow reach the bottom rope, to the point where Zack Sabre Jr. actually got one of the ring members to come out and unscrew the bottom rope. So Zack Sabre Jr., being the genius that he is, eliminated the bottom rope, so that way Chuck Taylor couldn't do a rope break every time locked in a submission. But at one point, Chuck Taylor was locked into a submission, but he actually got to the second rope, so he was able to put his foot up to the second rope, which really irritated Zack Sabre Jr. Chuck Taylor at one point brought out thumbtacks, which, you know, would go against him because Zack Sabre Jr. ended up giving him a German suplex onto the thumbtacks. Chuck Taylor just kept getting put through the thumbtacks when he put him into he had Zack Sabre Jr. in a sleeper, and Zack Sabre Jr. just, you know, did a backdrop onto the thumbtacks. And then, you know, Chuck Taylor would, you know, get some resiliency. Zack Sabre Jr. hit Chuck Taylor with the championship title. Rick Knox refused to count because he cheated with the title, so Rick Knox did not count the 3 when it clearly was a 3 count. So he was kind of, you know, arguing with Zack Sabre Jr., but Chuck Taylor used it to his advantage. Chuck Taylor hit a awful waffle onto Zack Sabre Jr. for the 1-2-3 victory. So Chuck Taylor is your brand new Pro Wrestling Guerrilla World Champion in a hellacious match. Like I said, incredible main event. The storytelling I thought was superb. Zack Sabre Jr. pretty much trying everything he possibly could to beat Chuck Taylor, but not able to do it. And Chuck Taylor just trying to fight back as best as he could and succeeding at the end. I thought it was a great story. So yeah, like I said, incredible main event. Good feel-good moment with Chuck Taylor winning the championship, and Trent coming out and celebrating with him as well. And everything about this was absolutely awesome. Really enjoyed that matchup. Like I said, Chuck Taylor's best match of his career, in my opinion. So, yeah, that match definitely saved this show, in my opinion. Like I said, this was a very, whatever show. I still thought it was better than Man on the Silver Mountain. But, yeah, the main event really saved it. And yet, the three-way match was really good. And so was the tag team match. Everything else is kind of just there. So, I hope Bola's a lot better. Not sure when. And, I'll get it and watch Bola. So, I'm not sure when those reviews will be up. But, yeah, like I said, that Push It Forward back was a good show, but just, very skippable if you ask me. So, if you guys enjoyed the video, leave a like below. If you guys have seen the show, leave your guys' thoughts in the comment section below if you guys would like. And as always, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you guys for watching the video.